Welcome to This Explainer. Look, the virtualization landscape is completely turned upside down right now, and today we're unpacking a really critical and honestly widely misunderstood challenge in enterprise IT. We're looking at how you need to treat your high-stakes VMware to bare metal migration not just as a standard run-of-the-mill IT project, but as a highly strategic, covert operation. Because a migration of this magnitude, it isn't just about shifting workloads around. It's about fundamentally shifting the skills of your entire team while keeping your strategic cards very, very close to your chest. So let me just ask you the most critical question when it comes to your infrastructure cutover. Is your team genuinely ready for the point of no return? You see, tipping your hand too early to your current vendors, meaning before your team is fully trained for the new target architecture, it exposes you to massive financial and operational risks. If you go out and announce your move before your operational armor is built, you are opening yourself up to some severe strategic vulnerabilities. The strategic intelligence we're dissecting today comes straight from a really detailed tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. Now, this material was designed specifically for C-suite execs and IT directors who are actively navigating the tricky human side of infrastructure transformation. It brilliantly shifts the focus away from just, swapping out hardware and puts it squarely where it belongs. On the human element, we're talking training, readiness, and strategic silence. Here is our mission briefing for today. We'll be covering assessing your current skills, locking in that target infrastructure, heavily controlling the migration narrative, training under live fire, and finally, securing your institutional knowledge. Okay, phase 1, assessing your current skills, which is really all about building your operational armor. You have to start by establishing a baseline because a structured skills inventory is literally the foundation of every single training decision you're going to make. You absolutely must assess your current VMware proficiency. Like, what is your team's actual depth in vSphere, NSXT, or SDDC Manager? Once you have that hard data, you map those specific gaps against the realities of the new world: bare metal OS administration, physical networking, SAN or NAS storage. And then you categorize these requirements strictly by IT role. Treating your team as a monolith, assuming a network engineer needs the exact same prep as a storage admin, is a fantastic way to guarantee a botched cutover. Moving right along to phase 2, locking in target infrastructure. And keep this in mind: ambiguity here absolutely kills project momentum. This brings us to a really stark warning for IT leaders. Procuring training before you have firmly confirmed your target stack is a massive budget risk. Actually, scratch that. It's just throwing budget into a black hole. Your choice of hypervisor, whether you're going with Proxmox, Hyper-V, KVM, Nutanix, whatever it is, must be strictly locked in. And the exact same rule applies to your physical networking vendor and your storage platform. Until those decisions are set in stone, buying a single vendor course just creates a totally false sense of operational confidence. Once that stack is locked, the training needs diverge sharply, as we can clearly see mapped out by role. Systems admins, they need to suddenly shift gears to bare metal OS provisioning and firmware management. Network engineers are going to need to swap out their NSXT knowledge for physical switching, VLAN design, and heavy routing protocols like BGP or OSPF. And your storage admins will need to master vendor-specific SAN and NAS protocols. Establishing exactly who is taking what training is vital to keeping this whole thing moving. All right. Let's get into phase 3, controlling the migration narrative. This is all about maintaining strict confidentiality, and it's where the covert operation really takes shape. You have to treat your vendor management and your internal communications like a highly classified mission. You need to carefully manage who knows what and exactly when they know it. Why is this absolutely crucial? Because you have to engage your legal and procurement teams to thoroughly review VMware contract end dates, audit clauses, and support terms long before any migration activity becomes visible to the outside world. If a vendor inquiry forces the conversation before you are ready, you have completely lost your strategic leverage. To protect that leverage, you must clearly define what the source material calls your point of technical inevitability. This is huge. It's the exact technical threshold where the migration literally cannot be reversed. For example, maybe it's the exact moment the very last production workload officially leaves VMware Cloud Foundation. Reaching this specific threshold is your one and only authorized trigger for external vendor announcements. Planning your comms around this single milestone removes all the ambiguity and stops premature disclosure in its tracks. Now, to protect that timeline, you have got to lock down your internal communications. You want tiered information controls. Execs get the strategic milestones, sure, but the help desk, they only need to know about the impact windows. And I want to emphasize a really critical point here. Keep your newly acquired vendor training resources under strict NDA. Seriously, you do not want vendors piecing together your departure strategy just because they noticed your engineers are suddenly taking certifications for competing infrastructure. Preserve that confidentiality until the very end. Let's move to phase 4 and see how this all builds into execution. This is what we call training under live fire. You need to treat the actual migration window itself as your highest value live training environment, because this is where staff will encounter real configurations and, frankly, real failures. When an incident inevitably happens mid-migration, strict protocols have to take over. Boom. The predefined escalation path triggers. The team relies on runbooks to resolve it, but here is the secret sauce. Immediately after resolution, a mandatory 15-minute debrief takes place. You document the root cause, and that feedback loop is instantly fed right back into your living runbooks. It turns a stressful outage into the most effective training event of the whole project. But keep in mind, technical performance during a high-stakes window like this is completely inseparable from team resilience. IT leaders have to actively manage the human layer. Burnout is a massive risk here, so you communicate daily wins, you monitor for fatigue, and you deliberately reframe mistakes made in this supervised context as vital learning events, not performance failures. If staff are showing skill anxiety, you intervene early because a burnt-out team will derail the whole migration. Finally, we reach phase 5, securing your institutional knowledge. This is all about eliminating human points of failure. One of the biggest operational risks when moving to bare metal is that a single point of failure in human knowledge is just as dangerous as a single point of failure in your hardware. You must establish formal knowledge management. Turn this migration runbooks into maintained documentation. Build a searchable internal wiki. And most importantly, map out all your solo experts. You know, the hero engineer who is the only person who understands a critical system. They aren't an asset right now. They are a massive succession risk. You must cross-train deliberately. Meaning, at a minimum, you need 2 engineers deeply competent on every single critical platform. So, what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, you have a strict 30-day runway. Week 1, you launch that skills survey. Week 2, you are confirming the target stack and shortlisting your vendors. Week 3 is for securing the budget, so that by week 4, your migration champions are enrolled in their first training cohort, which proves the concept for the rest of the organization. Ultimately, the source material makes one thing absolutely undeniable. Your training readiness fundamentally dictates your migration readiness. It is not an afterthought you can just tack on at the end. Delaying your training compresses your timeline and exponentially increases your cutover risk. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are you launching this covert operation today, properly arming your team behind closed doors? Or are you just waiting around for an unmitigated disaster at launch? Think carefully about your next move. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.